Good morning and Jai Hind. In this video, I am going to tell you about transitive and intransitive verb. But before that, I would like to introduce direct object. Direct objects are the words that receive the action of the verb. Or we may say that when an action expressed by the verb passes over from the subject to the object. As you can see the example, the boy kicked the ball. So here the ball is the direct object, and here kicked is a verb. Some verbs have direct object and others do not. As we have seen in the example that kicked, which is a verb, has a direct object, that is the ball. But in the next slide, we are going to discuss various verbs which do not have direct object, and we will learn about those type of verbs. Transitive or intransitive. If a verb has a direct object, as we have seen in the example just before, the boy kicked the ball, where kicked would be called as a transitive verb because it has a direct object, the ball. While if there is no direct object in a sentence, then the verb in that sentence will be termed as intransitive verb. Some verb will be both transitive and intransitive. It depends on how the verb is used. That means there are few verbs which can be used as transitive as well as intransitive. So the next thing, that how to identify in a sentence whether the verb is transitive or intransitive. For that, you can directly ask the question, by whom or what. As we have seen the example, the boy kicked the ball. If we ask the question just after the verb, the boy kicked what, then we can get the answer, the ball. That means here the ball is a direct object and kicked is a transitive verb. Let us understand this with the help of another example. He wrote the manuscript. Here we know that wrote is a verb, and we may ask the question just after the verb, he wrote what? The answer would be the manuscript. He wrote the manuscript. So that means that manuscript is a direct object, and that's why the verb wrote would be a transitive verb. Let us take one more example. The dog shook his tail. Here the verb is shook. So we may ask the question, after the verb, the dog shook what? So the answer that comes would be his tail. So here tail would be the direct object. So the verb just before the direct object, shook, is a transitive verb. Now let us understand intransitive verb with the help of the example. Mrs. Scarper applauded. So here the word applauded is a verb here, and we may ask the question after the verb, applauded whom or what? But there is no word to receive the action of the verb applauded, and that's why there is applauded would be an intransitive verb, as there is no direct object in the sentence, and it is in fact not needed at all. There are few verbs which are intransitive in nature. That means they would never be transitive. You may learn these words agree, become, come, die, fall, go, happen, live, sit, stand, talk, wait, walk, work. So, now let us understand the importance of transitive and intransitive verb. The next chapter after this we are going to study is passive and active voice. So, for the formation of a sentence in passive form, it is necessary that a sentence or a verb in a sentence should always be a transitive one. If a sentence has a intransitive verb, then it won't be able to convert into a passive form.